the issue of land ownership. And as we know, Bedouin, there is a huge conflict between the State of Israel and the Bedouins on issue of land ownership. And by the way, land issues is, I think, the most, if we're talking about discrimination, and we can see it, I mean, court rulings, state controller reports, other, international reports. It's known that Palestinians in Israel face discrimination. But if you want to focus on the areas that they are facing discrimination, land is one of the most. You can see the discrimination, and as a result, it's affect other areas as well, such as education, such as workplaces, etc. So, as I mentioned, the ownership issue, the State of Israel don't recognize the traditional mechanism of land ownership that Bedouin used during the Ottoman time and the mandate, and they trying to take Bedouin to the court, although they have no chance because presidents in the Supreme Court accept the interpretation of the state, very narrow interpretation of ownership land and what it's mean according to. They changed something in the law. It's very complicated. I won't get into it, but I would just state that these days we're trying to challenge this. I mean, ACRI is going to petition Supreme Court to change the mechanism and asking to change the mechanism that Israeli authorities use to deal with the issue of ownership lands, because we're saying that this mechanism is unjust and it doesn't take into consideration traditional ownership and other issues as well. So this is another issue, but it's important to say that because it's not just the issue of unrecognized Bedouin villages, there are other issues. Just to say, we're only talk about 5% of the Negev territory that in dispute, and the Negev is 60% out of Israel territory. So theoretically, if Israel authority would want to solve this problem, it could solve it easily. And just recently,
Negev is 60% of Israel.
Yes, it's a huge territory, desert. And recently, recently the Knesset recognized 60 individual farms, that 60 individual Jewish farms in the Negev, and I will not even say that these farms were just recently established, like 10 years they came, and it's individual farms, like in each farm live just one family. And it's the Knesset, now it's legal.
That means that they own the territory?
Yes.
Okay, so they're legal owners of the land.
Yes, although they came like 10 years ago, later, and we said, okay, come and apply the same thing on Bedouins, And now there is this Goldberg committee, which is a governmental committee headed by former Supreme Court Justice, that tried to, it's finished its work, but it's supposed to recommend the government regarding the settlement of the Bedouins. So we are waiting to see what the recommendation will be. Now,
I just have one question. What is the traditional way of land owning in the Bedouin? Just so that we understand.
Okay. First of all, it's as other indigenous communities. It's usually use oral methods, not written. So most of them didn't register the land, and that's a different way of knowing.
There's no contract, no.
I mean, there is some of them sell the land or sold the land, but it's known which tribe owns which territory. So, for instance, even the 7 townships that Israel established for Bedouins, some of the area are in dispute. Like there are ownership claim over some of this area inside the townships, and other Bedouins refuse to live in these specific areas because they said this belongs to this guy that have an ownership claim over this territory. So it's stronger, it's more stronger than the legal Israeli